afternoon and welcome to the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association for Teachers' Worth. Tutor is very well aware of the silent but profound contributions of teachers, not just in the classroom, and hence they've embarked on this project. One teacher from each district will be chosen. On this edition of A Teacher's Worth, we are pleased to welcome a teacher who was awarded Teacher of the Year for 2019. That's Rhonda Michelle Jones. She's currently a teacher at the La Joqueta South Government Primary School. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your career. How did you get into teaching?
Thanks for having me and allowing me this opportunity to speak about some of the things I've done and continue to do. Teaching started for me in my back gallery in La Joqueta with two young ladies, my two little sisters. My parents were working at Dude at the time and they were laid off. So having just completed, I should say, secondary school, Malik Senior Comprehensive, I'm proud, yes. I decided I would do something with them. And before you knew it, the gallery was filled up with children. 7, 8 little youngsters from around the community started coming, all done voluntarily, of course, bought a little ABC card and that kind of thing. Went on to UE to do early childhood, opened my own preschool, went on to do the community, one of the community schools as a principal. And in 1997, I decided, listen, I really want to go over to primary school. So I heard about being a private student at one of the teachers' colleges or so. So I approached certain people, persons to sponsor me. And I was sponsored for the 2 years, right? I don't want to call names yet, but they were some really good persons who came forward and they sponsored me. No salary for 2 years with a 7-year-old daughter at the time. It meant sitting for a hamper sometime in a church, right, to survive, getting a little assistance for traveling. But it all worked out so well that when I was finished in 1999, I decided to volunteer that term, that September term, at the primary school in my community that I'm at now, La Joqueta South. The principal, she fell in love with me, as most people do, right? She fell in love with me, yeah. And to be honest, when I look on my file, there is this first appointment for another school. I never knew it until recently. I looked at my file and I saw this because she wanted me to be part of it, so she did what she had to do and I became a member of that staff. Now, when I was volunteering, I must say, members of the staff would create a little purse for me at the end of the month when I was volunteering, right? January of 2000, I started at the school. I had my interview, passed it and so on, because one of the questions I was asked is, no, they asked me if I had any questions in the interview. I said, well, how soon I'll be placed? And one of the things they said is, how soon you'll be paid? And I was like, okay, thank you so much. So therefore, right? That was for a year. After the year, now I replaced a teacher who went on leave. After that year, went to school one morning, and there was a teacher. But God would have it, you know, when your things lining up, leave it alone, right? And I got to school that morning, and there was a couple who decided, look, we had enough of teaching, and decided that they were leaving. And I fell into the gentleman's position, right?
Okay.
Went on, you know. So, and teaching has always been fulfilling. You know, it's a passion, a love. I don't think I could do it any other way or any other job, really. I really wanted to be a police officer first there. But something happened that turned me off. But teaching, I've never regretted starting it.
So tell us a little bit about the drama and culture and so on.
Well, actually, let's call me a drama queen at times, but that's all right. I write a lot of stories, plays, monologues, spoken word. I work with a lot. I do a lot of networking in my community. So right now I have a group. Sorry, I came with this. Right, it's called LH Movers Sports and Cultural Committee, and that's a group that started in 2009. Now that came out of the spate of murders and so on to it. It was also something to help with the social impact in the community in a positive way. So we started there. We had the best village. We have done really well over the years. I've had children who started dancing with a dance teacher on the night and got scholarship. Because we have so much talent. As somebody said earlier, it's a melting pot. Trinidad and Tobago, we are overwhelmed with talent. So that's part of what I do with the drama and so on.
What keeps you going? I mean, I'm just looking at your CV here. It is like countless pages. You're always doing something. What keeps you going?
To be honest, I think teaching saved my life. Why I say that? I had a very dark time in my life, domestic-wise. And going to school many days helped me to be sane. A lot of times they call me mad now. Hear what? My mad is making a difference. So I said, what is your mad? What is your mad? Well, if my mad is making a difference, what's yours? So I will continue to be mad.
Okay.
Thank you. Right? So what I Again, I'm inspired by a great man, one of the greatest. You know him. I think everybody here know him, right? And that man, he gives me the impetus and that strength and drive to go. Sometimes I haven't finished school because you're talking about drama, but I also do cricket in the community, right? And we do it like, well, because of COVID, we had a whole of uncertain things and we have to change a bit. But 2 days a week, Wednesday and Friday, again, all voluntary. I'm telling you that because you know why? I don't want to have to be charging anybody and then the children will lose out on being this talented footballer, cricketer, basketballer, you name it, right? So it's all done in a way to encourage my youngsters to come out and be part of it. 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays, right?
Tell us a little bit about your stint with cricket, with the national cricket team.
Okay, I started in 2008. Actually, I was asked to be the manager of an under-15 team to go to Argentina. And I'm like, okay, opportunity, wow. So it was great. We went to Argentina, we won the Baymax Cup. Yes, my girls were dynamic, awesome, and well, super talented, But I had really, really beautiful young ladies going across there. I had a team of persons, besides me being the manager, I had Erica George, I had Miss Eudora, they were from Tobago, right? So we had a nice mix, Trinidad and Tobago, represented the red, white, and black, sorry. And when we got back in 2009, I was asked to become the coach, right? And Ms. Brenda Solizano, she was now the manager, so we worked closely, right? She was also a former player. Now, I never played hardball at that level. I played windball. You can't let me out the windball coming at me. I love the game. I play the game that kind of really intense kind of way. But I got into coaching actually through a teacher from Mountain Nuevo, taking my students to Mountain Nuevo. He said, you didn't want to, I started umpiring and then I started coaching. So now I'm fully qualified. I'm level 1 to West Indies, level 1 to Australian as a coach, as an umpire, West Indies umpire. I've worked with the best of them, right? Actually, I was also part of the Trinidad and Tobago Primary School League for cricket as the secretary until 2018. I had to resign because of personal issues. Now, my president was kind of upset because we worked so good, no, honestly, right? Because we have this kind of nice synergy.
I feel your passion. I feel your
that
passion
synergy,
for
that
this
synergy,
sport.
yeah.
And what is it about youth development? Because I get it's not just about sport, it's not just about education. You are about youth development.
Definitely, because listen to me. You know what is my greatest peeve right now?
Tell me.
It's when I have to see a young man sitting or lying on the ground in bullet riddle and they're picking up like a sack of potato. That hurts to the core. And for every young man that is shot and killed in my community, a little bit of me would go with them.
You've seen a lot, clearly.
Yes. Just last week again, Just last week again, we had another one. Another loss.
And you think education and youth development would prevent these things?
Definitely, but again, if we don't really seriously get to the core of it, because one of the things I'm planning to do soon is a block walk, I'm going to sit on the block with all the young men. Let's find out what's happening here, and I'm going to collect some data with the government who want to take it serious. Rhonda Jones, I'm going to tap into some international source and deal with that, because we have too many young men. Imagine, you come to shoot somebody. No, let's be real. And you're seeing children in close proximity, and you actually shot at this and almost killed 2 little girls. Well, actually, they were students of mine. They're part of my group. One is actually in my class right now. So that night, I'm sorry, I was out there getting on real bad.
Because it bothers you on a personal level. As we talk about these deaths and so on, did anyone in particular touch you? Were you ever close?
Well, actually, I lost one, my brother, 13 years ago. I think before 2008, I should say, I would have been doing what I was doing, but more in the background. But after I lost my brother to the gun, now mind you, he didn't listen, right? He told himself that he can just go about doing it and that's okay. But again, if you live by it, you die by it. And after that, I decided, listen, I cannot just be in the back. I must be the change that I want. So I stepped forward, and I stepped forward boldly, and I have no bones about it.
Do these young boys, sometimes girls, do they respect you? How?
Oh, yeah.
What is that relation?
Okay, let me give you a real-time experience. Just Saturday, one of my young men, because every July, August, for the last maybe 4 or 5 years before COVID, we would have been to Tobago. I will take this whole entourage, young men and young ladies, to play against Tobago. It's a nice, friendly, something, you're looking like 1 week, right? And one of the young men who we have been doing this for decided to walk into my house in December and picked up my device, a phone or whatever. Well, you know, he got it, right? Now, it could have been even worse because a lot of the young men, Miss Jones, just tell me, you know, just tell me the word, no, I don't want that. He's already sorry. So I saw him on Saturday because I was delivering some hampers. Now, I don't take pictures of that, but I do a lot of social work in my community like that. And one of the persons, the guy who was actually transporting with the hampers with me, he stopped to speak to another young man, a past student as well. Yes, Miss Jones, I know Miss Jones, and you know, that's how small the world is. And this young man in particular was there, and you could see his face. I said, come. I said, I am still vexed with you, you know, but I want you to just take this hamper and give it to the young lady down the street there. He willingly went. He wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
You know, because I have that kind of rapport with them, because trust me, I will love them.
But you got from him, what I gather, that sense of regret, that sense of shame that he may not have had in front of his own parents, so, you know.
Listen to me, he has been around. Sometimes when I go to practice, because we sometimes use the patent, and he would come and say, I'm not ready to speak to you. Because he knows what he did. I'm not ready to speak to you, sir. So you have to wait until I'm ready. Calm yourself.
How important are people like you to communities?
Oh, very important, because let me tell you something. Even though I had in the last month and a half, maybe 2 murders, without somebody like Rhonda Jones and the many persons, teachers, community activists, or whatever, there'll be far more. Because everyone that I save is one less that the police and they have to get involved with. And that is what I do. I also work with the police, you know. Yeah,
community policing.
We have a station council. Well, it has been kind of dormant because of the COVID, but I'm trying to get them involved as well. Trying to get them involved.
Do you think in years to come by, we'll look back at the pandemic and see a lot of young men would have dropped off the education system, mainly from marginalized areas? Just irregular, the impoverished, the marginalized, the at-risk areas. Do you think that will be a reality? And what could be done now to change that?
It is already a reality like that, you know. A lot of these young men, because, all right, yes, we know technology is what we have now. Right? I'm not as savvy, but I'm proud to say my children will help me along the way, and I'm proud of that. I'm no bones about it, I'm proud of that. But you're seeing some children, because I met another young man recently in phase 1. He was one of my little cricketers. He said, come, why your lips looking so? I said, so why you want to be like that? Why you want to be doing that? Well, Miss I said, are you going to school? He doesn't have a device. So I'm in the process of getting some devices. And if it means I have to go and assist with getting some connectivity, I'll do that too, you know why? We have to try and save them now. Because it wouldn't be missing anymore, eh? That generation wouldn't be missing. They'll be gone. They'll be gone. We wouldn't have anything to hold on to again. So this pandemic is now kind of just showing up certain things, you know. You see those social ills? They're starting to come around again. Because when a parent must leave early in the morning to go to work and then leave her children thinking it's safe, things are going to happen.
So, Ms. Rhonda Jones, thank you so much for chatting with us. She's certainly a woman who has seen more than she tells. Rhonda Jones, thank you so much again. So that brings us to a wrap of this edition of A Teacher's Week.